Atmosphere is everything. What is always considered a rather tiny support role is actually a key factor in amazing songs, because those allegedly tiny details contribute a lot to the whole soundscape of a track and divide beginners from pros. I'm Casata Cruz, DJ and producer, and today we'll break down my song Never Be Free. With a heavy focus on atmospheric elements today, because this song lives and breathes it. So without further ado, let's get started. So let's dive right in. And probably the most important element of this track is some vocal atmosphere in the back. I love those kind of vocal driven atmosphere because they add a lot of texture and a beautiful layer to the soundscape of a song, and we can manipulate it in a lot of different ways. So this is the same sound unprocessed. And the only thing I'm doing is adding some saturation and cutting some low frequencies. So first of all, we have blood over drive for saturation, and then an EQ to cut the low frequencies. And the fun part is Transgate, a free sequencer to make this vocal atmo stutter in the drop. You can also see it in this automation here. So there isn't any sequencing in the part, but in the drop it filters in a little and filters out a little. And sequencing gives you so many possibilities to create different versions of a sound. Just to give you an example that hasn't something to do with the track or the production of this track, but if you're using FL Studio, you have this amazing tool called Cross Beat. This thing is crazy. So absolutely amazing. Just play a little. This works really well with pads and vocals. Alright, so much for the vocal atmo. Let's go to the next one, a Plucky ARP. And this is what it sounds like unprocessed. I saturate and distort it a little with blood overdrive and camel crusher. Then I cut the low frequencies again, because otherwise it would take a lot of energy that is reserved for the bass. And this ARP sound in particular has a lot of low end information, so it loses some energy at this point, but still the bass is more important. So we keep the bass intact and cut the low frequencies on this plug. Alright, then some delay and some reverb on a separate mixer channel. And the cherry on top, OTT for some multi-band compression to enhance this sound and make it even bigger, and kickstart for some ducking that makes the sound even a little pluckier. I also let the ARP slowly build through a filter in the part, and together with our vocal atmo from earlier that also filters in with a filter, we now have our melodic groundwork. to support the sound, I added a step sound with some 16th notes in the key of the track. So first F, the question, then D, the answer, you could say. Alright, and unprocessed it sounds like this. So there's also saturation with blood overdrive and an EQ to cut the low frequencies, 10% of OTT multiband compression, and of course also delay, reverb on a separate mixer channel, and kickstart for ducking. And this also gives the bass more room and modifies the sound. So now we have our melodic elements and now we need kick, bass and drums. So if you want to know more on my workflow on these, I have a dedicated bassline tutorial and also a complete drum guide that will help you with it. So make sure to check it out. So let's add them one by one and step by step to fill our first part of the track. And that is the first part of the song, so let's continue with the build-up before the drop. But before we continue, let me say that I know that music production is an extremely complicated thing, and I know that feeling and I've been there too. And if you want to go one step further than my free knowledge share here on YouTube, then check out my Fiverr profile, because I offer professional mixing, detailed song feedback, custom remixes and one-to-one coaching at affordable prices. If you're interested, check the link in the description. So let's continue with the build-up, and the build-up is absolutely simple and straightforward, but at the same time extremely powerful. So the vocal atmo and the step from earlier continue to play but slowly fade out with a filter automation. And the drop lead that fully starts to play, and the drop naturally has a reversed filter automation. So it's doing the exact opposite. The lead filters in, the vocal atmo and the step filters out. And the last thing are some vocals. You always pull me back down. My heart is beating so loud. So let's hear them unprocessed. You always pull me back down. So it's a very soft mixing program, you could say. Of course, like always, some saturation to get even more harmonics, a little more delay, a little more reverb. And probably the most important thing, which I really love to do with vocals, is stretching them. So we open up the vocals, use the Stretch Pro mode, and then shift them to the left to lower them, or shift them to the right to make them sound higher. So we manipulate the vocals this way that they sound kind of pitch, but remain in the key. So let's just leave them at -400 cents, and I think then it sounds fine. And that is our complete build-up. So and that brings us to the last missing piece of the song, the drop lead. And the drop lead consists of a bunch of 16th notes, and every third beat the tone attacks. So let's have a look on the processing side of things, and unprocessed it sounds like this. Quiet and boring, but we'll fix this. This is, by the way, the perfect example why I reduce almost every mixer channel at first to at least -6 dB, because now we have enough space for effects. By the way, I made a guide on pre and post master loudness recently, so if the topic interests you, check it out. First of all, as always, let's apply some saturation with blood overdrive. And then thermal for distortion. The best distortion plugin on this planet, and probably also the most expensive. But thermal makes the sound so much wider and louder without messing with any gain controls. And that is the important part. So this sound has very limited low-end information, but we cut the low frequencies anyway because it serves no purpose and we need space for kick and bass. And now we space up the sound with delay and reverb. And we're almost there. Let's sharpen the sound with multiband compression with OTT. And one more thing, since we have a very consistent pattern in this lead with the tone playing every third beat, it also sounds a little bit stiff. And this is where our good old friend ducking comes into place once more. The easiest way probably is with Kickstart, but you could also do it with Love Filter in FL Studio plugin. So we basically lower the volume when the tone attacks. So now I copy the MIDI notes, clone the synth, paste them and lower them an octave. So we have a great layer for more texture. And now all the way we went from this to this. And together with the vocal atmo, kick, bass and drums, we now have our drop. And that wraps this video up. If you liked it, please give thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. It helps a lot. Also, feel free to share your thoughts or questions in the comments. You can now stream the song Never Be Free here on YouTube or download for free on SoundCloud. All the links in the description. And also don't forget to check out my Fiverr profile if you're in need for some professional music services. Till then, have an amazing day or night and see you soon.